also had a couple of clocks that filled up, instigating war between Dimmer Sisters and the Spirit Wardens, and tracking down whatever became of Templar. If you would like a couple of threads to pull. Anything?
If that's possible, along the line of searching for Templar, I'd like for Caroline to try to get an idea of if there's any members of the cult that died recently. Doesn't have to be something specific, just died. If there's any record of words on the streets.
Okay, yeah, make me a check.
Oops.
I would say controlled greater effect.
Control greater effect, I'm going with 30.
Okay. Oh, nice. As the very nature of what it is you're up against, yes, those that have succumbed, the philosophies of the cult itself being that they were not of true, they weren't true believers, that they were merely hosts for what it is that threatens and spreads its malicious nature across Dustfall.
That's interesting.
Various reports, especially looking through Sasha's documentation, you see that there's a lot of them are evidently rat infested. The bodies found seemingly eaten from the inside out.
That's perfect.
Which leads us to Gaz and Battered Crow. Is there anything you would like to do?
I would say, outside of having probably set up a little, what is essentially a bird cage inside the Imperative's hideout for Maribel, the crow. Battered Crow has not been to the hideout recently. He's probably been right in the middle of the hustle and bustle that's probably going on inside of the crematorium as things begin in earnest, as it were.
Okay, it's a lot of it is denied. Access is denied to you, given that you are
An initiate.
Once again, back in the initiate, standing of an initiate. So obviously the crematorium itself, the basement electroplasmic pools, and the library, some various other, as public as it gets for the wardens, allowing initiates obviously into private studies and offices, and the more uncertain researching that goes on, especially deeper within the bowels of this Gothic monolith that is at the moment denied to you.
Of course.
You know what's there, given your history, but obviously at the present it's been once again closed off to you. But yes, there is certainly a lot more activity than there otherwise would be. The Deathseeker crows that circle the building, nesting in up and around the bell tower itself, seem a lot more listless, and even the atmosphere within feels tense, especially amid wardens who give very little away.
Even with limited access, Crow is making himself as useful as he can, depending on what each... He's essentially that intern that's literally, like, splitting himself into 15 different people, trying to get as many tasks done as he can. He's being that intern.
Right. Is there anything you would like to do in particular?
That would be very, very dependent on what the wardens are having me do, specifically. But right now, Battered Crow is not considering himself an individual, really. He's considering himself part of a group. So he's not doing anything through individual wants or needs. He's acting as part of a unit, essentially. So that's where he is right now, so to speak.
Okay, there's a lot of these seem what they're getting you to do. A lot of it seems very disconnected. There'll be one thing here, there'll be another thing here, there'll be some research here, and then something else which seems entirely disconnected from one another. As you sit, the candles burning low, pile of books to one side, pile of red books to the other, or to be scanned. Let's go, Gaz. Is there anything that you would like to do at this moment?
So, I think Gaz has come to he's known he's wanted to leave this entire time, but the experience in the mansion has made him realize that if it's going to happen, he needs to start acting as if it's going to happen. So I think at this point, if he finds time to, he's gonna start to find the few people that he finds it worthwhile and start trying to say goodbye, I guess, that he's gonna be gone soon, and just starting to make plans for it.
Sure. Is there anyone that you would like to see?
I think there was that, I'm blanking on his name, but that bartender that kind of like...
Oh, Martin.
Huh?
Martin.
Yeah, Martin.
Yeah, in Crowsfoot, yeah.
And there's probably a couple of people that I was friendly with over in the underground fights. Weren't too much of assholes about it. But it's just mostly the people I'd grow up with that I didn't hate at this point.
So, returning to the leaky bucket. Walking in, it's quiet. Everywhere is quiet now. A couple of blue coats prop up the bar down to one end. Those that you know to be the generally kind of the hustlers within Crowsfoot. So it's two of them, Lewitt and Myra. They are part of the routine. They're part of the furniture of Crowsfoot. There's four of them in total. The other two aren't around at this exact moment, but they pretty much turn a blind eye to anything going on, provided they get to take their piece of the pie. And as usual, Martin at the opposite end of the bar turns up, looks at you, gives you a nod, and then turns back. One side of his face sort of resting on his chin as he just flicks through one of the papers.
Hello, Martin. I trust it's as busy as ever in here.
That's the problem when you so many people coming down with whatever this is. Everyone's scared.
Speaking
After a
of,
drink,
I'd love a drink.
good luck.
Kicks one of the kegs which stands underneath the tap.
Running dry.
That's a shame. It just so happens that, well, it would have been appreciated. I wasn't here for the beverages. I came to see you, actually.
It's been a while since anyone has come to do that. Go on.
Well, I'm not really sure what I thought. I figured it. I'm going to be leaving Dustfall, Martin, and you're one of the few people that I feel like has actually had me in mind. Felt like I owed you at least that much, so I didn't just look like I disappeared.
You know, it took me the best part of 35 years to decide that I wanted out. Left the Crows. And what did I do? I opened a bar on their doorstep. You ask me, you're making the smartest decision I never did.
Not too smart. Probably. I'm not even going to try to get an honest job where I'm going. Just need something new. I can't change everything I am, but maybe if I go somewhere different, I can be more of it.
I would drink to that.
It's the thought that counts, Martin.
Oh no.
Take care of yourself.
You too.
I
And whenever
tapped the
you get
bar.
to
Oh,
whenever you
you're
get to wherever you're going, have a drink for me.
I'll down a whole pint for it as I tap the bar and leave.
Back with Caroline. Is there anything you would like to do?
Not particularly.
And okay, so back to Battered Crow as you sit there, candle now, a stub threatening to go out at any moment, as a figure comes and sits opposite you. It's a click as the mask gets removed, place it down on the table, and they sit back, face still obscured in the shadow. You can just see the slightest amber glow as it reflects off little bit of skin, a little bit of the jaw, a bit of the cheek, but the eyes and the majority of features still obscured.
Crow looks up from the tomes in front of him. How can I assist you? And kind of cocks his head as if to ask, how should this person be addressed?
Simply Warden will suffice.
Right? Warden.
So something has begun. Something your hand certainly played a part in.
Yes, I admit my time in the mansion. I most certainly passed information along that sort of got the ball rolling, as it were.
It certainly did. You know how this ends.
Everybody has different ideas on how it's gonna end, so you're going to have to excuse me in asking, how is your vision of the end?
They say hindsight is always 20/20. Seems that this is a story that's already been written.
Nathan narrows his eyes, depending on how visible they are, because he would still be wearing his mask at this point.
It's very low light. That candle flickers once again. It's now gonna go out. The wick almost burned down, almost entirely, as the warden in question takes a large book from under their arm, opens it up, and produces, pressed between the pages, a page of a newspaper. Pushes it across the table to you.
Picks up the book and begins to scan the book itself, but also the newspaper.
He doesn't give you the book, just the pages.
Just
the
the
book
page.
was just keeping the it's old. You know, when newspaper kind of gets that really kind of crisp crunchiness to it, and it's faded and yellowed.
Very, very delicately picks it up.
Yeah. A few bits fall off the side, and you realise that the paper itself is from 781, nearly 60 years previous.
So when Nathan was a little boy, got it. Roughly.
And as you read it, what you started ended 60 years.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
What you started ended nearly 60 years ago. As he hands you the book now opened, and it's going up alongside the article in the paper. the nature of what the ghost field reveals, along with this, the Spirit Warden's own research that coincides and gives more detail to the nature of what happened at Dimmer Mansion that day.
And what exactly happened?
Let's roll the score.
Okay.
So, before going any further into this, would you like to, or any of the others, as you spend hours poring over this book and eventually meeting with the others, would anyone like to gather information?
I mean, I could try. I have no idea how. But maybe temper with the ghost field.
Go for it.
What do I do? A natural roll?
Sorry?
What do I do? A natural roll?
Absolutely, go for it.
Okay. Risky standard?
Yes. Oh, nice. Okay, you find...
That's close.
That was too close.
You brought it back on the 6. What would you like to ask?
I don't know.
So you do have those sample questions if there's anything you would like to know on your sheet. If you look at, there's what is arcane or weird here? What are the echoes of the ghost field? What is hidden or lost? All that kind of stuff.
I'm going with what do they intend to do?
And who is they in this?
The Dimmer sisters.
At this point, you're not seeing time in a linear form. This is attritional and a matter of survival. And in doing so, they look to bring in the assistance of a forgotten god.
They do.
Oh. No points for guessing who.
Of course they do.
There is. So that is currently their intention. Oh, let's have something a little less dramatic. Crow, Gaz, would you either of you like to gather information?
I think I would like to... Now, to my understanding, some of what the Dimmer sisters do is they have issues with... I say issues. They dabble with spirits.
Dabble?
Good.
So an alcoholic dabbles with beer.
So I'm gonna talk to a friend of mine, Aleth, a reconciled ghost.
For sure, go for it.
And I'm just gonna see what I can get out of them. I'm not trying to deceive, that doesn't make sense. Control is more of a physical thing. I guess this is Fathom, just out of... I don't think I have the appropriate skill outside of that.
Go for it.
And I don't have the appropriate skill, meaning that, like, I just don't think my character sheet has it.
No problem. Yes.
Yeah, I think this would realistically be a consort in any other land. I don't have consort. I have deceive, which doesn't fit. I'll take that 6, though.
Absolutely. As you leave the Bellwether crematorium, there is the sound of a warden behind you who stops, and you turn around, and masked face throws back, and the orange, the yellow green glow in the eyes flickers slightly wildly. The head cracks back, looks at you. Who came knocking? What would you like to ask?
So, using the information the Pale Lady provided, how would I disrupt their agreement with this forgotten god? How would they submit themselves to them, and how can that be jostled?
There is an arbiter, a go-between between the sisters and the beyond, void past the ghost sphere. One who sees it. Cut off the head of the serpent. It can't bite.
Crow nods and leaves the crematorium to share this information with the others.
There's the kind of same strange head kind of jerking movement as the masked face turns back to look at you and walks by you with simple acknowledgement of initiate.
Warden.
Gaz. Would you like to gather information?
Yet again, my dangerous friend Mercy. I can't imagine how she'd be.
I mean, you don't have to necessarily go to Mercy. You can do any.
Yeah. I can't really think of anything.
Okay, so with that in mind, as Crow continues to read through the information provided, and the rest of you see this information laid out, basically over to you as players, how would you like to strike at the Dinner Sisters?
I mean, is there any question? This is a raid, right?
You're going for a raid on Dimmer Mansion.
Again?
This one's way more
It went
aggressive.
so well last time.
Hey, now, you weren't here. You can't say that.
All I know is I showed up and everyone had like fucking trauma all over their faces. Alright. I can infer the longest lived character at that point just up and disappeared out of nowhere. I think I can fill in some dots.
So, yes, what would you like to?
Well, if raid isn't floating your boat, then purification's an option.
I
That's
like
even-
raid.
Yeah, raid's good, and I think purification's a lost cause. I think the only way to purify it is with fire. Which I'm not opposed to, for the record. I probably got some
We
protection.
can come to that later.
Exactly. Let's not completely dismiss it. Keep it on the table. It's a good plan B. So yeah, I think raid's good.
Going for a raid. Okay, what's everyone's load?
Heavy.
Heavy.
Can I pick heavier than heavy?
If you
got mule.
It's heavy. Huh? Yeah,
If you
that's
have
true.
mule.
yeah, that's what I was just.
And Caroline.
That's me. Heavy as well.
Okay, heavy on a raid. So, question 1: is this plan overly bold or daring?
Can't say.
You know, it's kind of hard to tell. It's up in the air, really.
So,
It depends whether or not you think the Dimmer Sisters are a threat, Life.
maybe.
Like, it's kind of... Who knows? They may be pushovers. Who knows?
Does this plan exploit a vulnerability or hit your target where they're weakest?
I would actually argue a little bit, yeah. We're armed with some knowledge that they're not aware that we have. And here's a little bit of going into Battered Crow's mindset right now. I feel like he would be a little bit more disheartened by what that newspaper said, except for some words uttered to him while in the Deathlands. Knowing the outcome changes the outcome.
Bearing in mind,
I'm aware, but that is what's going through his head right now. That's why I did say it specifically like that.
yeah, because technically this score just involves a lot of reading.
Oh no.
But as you do so, memories begin to come back, memories that aren't quite your own. So yeah, fair enough. Knowing the outcome changes the outcome. And can any of your friends or allies provide assistance?
I feel like even though I went to them for questions, I do feel like a reconciled ghost might be... A ghost here might be somewhat useful.
And I have a witch friend. Maybe she could help.
I'd say it's probably only one, depending on which one you want to go to. But the short answer is yes. And are there any other factors you would like to consider?
I can't think of anything.
We pissed off that god real bad. We might want to take this into consideration.
I think that's actually a very fair point. Is that
After considering it, I've come to the conclusion that there's not a damn thing we can do about it.
Well, on 2 die. Here we go.
It could be. It could have been a lot worse. 2 dies.
It's still a
at
6.
least.
Still a 6. So
Nice.
on a raid, it's a. What's your? Can't see whether.
Can't see where the what.
What's the? Where's the score details?
Oh, that's gonna be on within Flames Without Shadow.
Yeah, I've got it. I just can't see where the
It's at the end of Initiate.
end of initiative. Thank you.
Why they put it there, don't ask me. Raid is point of attack.
Yes. So what's your point of it? Yeah. Thank you. Could not find it. Thank you. What is your point of attack?
I'm gonna acquiesce to Gaz, as he is our strong arm.
House itself stands multiple stories, 6, 7 stories tall, with a large bell tower, and creates almost kind of a squared horseshoe shape with an east and a west wing. The gardens themselves cracked, worn paving stones, many of which overgrown with weeds and vines, and a large, now dry fountain in the very centre of the courtyard. At the back there's the remains of a hedge maze, now knotted and gnarled and twisted inside of itself.
How many entrances are there into the building? Just out of curiosity. There's obviously
Obviously, very large grand front door, a flight of stairs. There's 2 on each of the wings as well. There's a sort of wing entrance and then a little side door, and then there's a large back door which leads out to what was once garden patio, raised patio type thing, and then that descends down. There's the large gardens, which, like I say, contains the wreckage of a hedge maze.
Mm. Huh. We could choose the. I feel as if we try to go in through one of the windows, it's going to be relatively easy to mess that up really quickly. I think we should go with the back door because the side door seems cramped enough that it could also get in. But yeah, I don't know.
I think the last
thing is that
I was just gonna say, I think the last time Pale Lady and myself went through the front door, so I'm okay with the back door.
The opposite, yeah.
Let's do this the opposite of
as you approach, usually that lightning barrier that keeps everything out or something else in from Dimmer Mansion almost seems to flicker as you approach. And for a brief moment, it lets you through.
If there's no problem with it, I am leading the blue coats in as well, our cohort.
Absolutely. So yes, the initial obstacle overcome by the almost like the house expects you.
I turn back to the group of blue coats. Come on now, boys. Let's not make asses of ourselves. They're so eagerly welcoming us. It'd be rude not to accept.
And as you make your cut a path through the old, ragged grass around to the side of the house. You see the steps leading up, large French windows, bay windows situated. And okay. What are you doing?
Bro, do you have any ordnance that can help us get through this door? Quick and easy like?
Looking at the door, there's a lot. It's glass, leaded windows. There's a lot of glass. Most of it's pretty grimy and kind of covered in dust, which is sealed onto the panes of the windows itself.
There may not be need, actually.
The ordnance that we need honestly seems like a boot.
I think I can handle that one myself, as, I guess, Gaz goes up and just tries to kick in one of the bigger panes.
Absolutely. So in the main window, yeah, foot goes straight through it. It's glass. You don't need to roll.
Cool.
As the window and the glass shatters inwards, you notice that first thing about the whole house is it's very cold.
I am wearing my spirit mask, so, yeah, this is gonna be a little bit different because I don't think the last time I had Ghost Mind in here.
What are you doing?
I'm keeping an eye out for spiritual threats, essentially, at this time.
Maybe that check.
So that would be connecting to the ghost field. That's Fathom.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you see everything unravel in front of you. You see echoes, figures that move through the house as ducking down and climbing inside. You see the house to be, in this exact moment, to be abandoned. However, there is a shift as you don't necessarily see through just the space in the ghost field, you see through the time of it. You see generations of Dimmer Sisters come and go. You see those who still yet have a potential future. And in the dust of a mirror, you see a figure write, "We've been expecting you."
Is this just visible to Crow through the mask, or is this something that everybody can see on the window?
This on the mirror. That was probably written years ago. There's now cobwebs and more dust covering where it was written. This is something that happened previously.
They've been expecting us, I state.
Makes you say that?
The ghost field. Echoes upon echoes.
Why do I even ask? It's always the ghost field.
As Caroline and Gaz, you climb in yourselves, feet crunching in the broken glass. What would you like to do?
I'd like to scoot around for any supernatural presence, actual ghosts that might linger in.
Go for it.
Going to use this ghost mine, if that's okay with
Mm-hmm. Sure.
you. Standard. Nice. Is Apatura alright? Okay.
Yep, absolutely. Anything goes fail, the tune is perfect.
What the? What is that roll? What is that roll? Seriously? 11133. What?
As you feel cold hands grip your shoulders, and the shadowy mist-like figure looms over your shoulder, just whispers in your ear, "Your friend doesn't know consequences of actions."
Okay, I'm not sure we're very welcome here.
Oh, most certainly not.
Also, someone just said you're dumb.
I'm trying to resist like a childish response. Well, I'm rubber, you're glue.
Don't resist.
I'm rubber, you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off of me and sticks to you, buddy.
Ah! Positively Shakespearean. Gaz, is there anything you would like to do?
I'm just trying to keep the nerves of these bluecoats in check, because they're not Spirit Wardens. They're just cops, basically. They did not sign up to come into Spooky Mansion today when they clocked in for work. So I'm just trying to make sure they keep their cool. I'm trying to just like keep them like regimented, whatever that word is. Regimented.
Yeah, that's the one. As one of them struggles to light a hooded lantern, eventually get there. Matches kind of going out with a shaky hand. As he finally lights it and holds it up, you see the room illuminated a little bit more. Barely destroyed is probably the best way of describing it. An old couch in one corner sits down. You see scorch marks over it. The cushions, the surviving cushions, torn and stuffing falling out onto the floor. Two of the legs broken, so it sits at this very awkward angle. Several boards from the ceiling above, looking up, large hole in the ceiling as this blue cut holds his light high. Anything you would like to do with that, or anyone else?
So he's... What is he doing?
The blue coat?
Yeah.
He's holding up a hooded lantern and kind of throwing the light over the room, so you can see it in a little more detail rather than the half light that shines in through the windows from the moon.
Got it. I guess there's nothing left to do but just start poking around.
Do you want to look for something in particular, Crow? Do you have a target in mind?
Our target. Just asking the GM here. It would be accurate to say a series of books, correct? You said it was going to be a lot of reading.
So, sorry, no, this is, in the present, you're reading what has happened previously.
Okay.
As you read, these memories begin to come back.
Alright, so...
You're dealing with the ghost field on an existential level of...
So... What...
The target itself is whatever that's... Potentially whatever that coalition between the Forgotten God that it's going on at this moment and the Dinner Sisters that are now looking to involve it in this conflict against the Spirit Wardens.
Okay.
But
So
there's this arbiter between the two of them.
our goal is to locate the liaison between the Dema Sisters and this Forgotten God. They need to be eliminated before the alliance can be struck.
Well then, lead the way.
Turns back to look at Caroline. You know how well leading in this place goes.
To certain people, I never set a foot in here, so no, it's on you.
I would assume Crow had shared his experiences with everybody in the mansion.
Absolutely.
So she would at least be aware of it.
Yeah. But also, I think on some level, Caroline doesn't trust herself to not go around like a kid on a field trip.
Just, no, they're bad. I can't fangirl right now.
Exactly.
Alright, well, now that we're in, I guess, yeah, Crow would take the lead and he would definitely state, if a door is big enough for everybody all at once to fit through, we do it. Place likes to change.
And as you press on, where would you like to go? What would you like to do?
So Nathan would probably understand that just from like an etiquette standpoint, you meet your guests in the foyer. You generally, if you're attempting to increase the likelihood of success, you would probably invite them to dinner. You might have a drink in a study before you talk business. So those are the three locations in his mind that he's thinking of. Maybe in the foyer, maybe in the dining room, maybe in a study. So those are the three locations he would want to check first.
So make me a desperate action to navigate the house, knowing how difficult this can be.
See, here's the thing. Is this tech... Okay, I do actually have a pretty important question here. This isn't necessarily physically navigating, right?
Oh.
Because, if so, that is maneuver, and this is gonna be bad. If it's... Because I also understand that this is... understanding the house, I could see this as being like an analyze, maybe. If it's not necessarily the physical act.
The house is unpredictable.
Mm-hmm.
So either one will work, but both are going to be desperate actions.
Okay, I'm definitely out of those two. It's the difference between 3 dice and 2 take the lowest, so I am taking the 3 die. For action, standard effect.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's fair.
Oof, a 4.
Success with a complication as you step into the study.
Oh, we go straight from
The other
backdoor
two.
to study. Oh no.
The other two see you step through. As you look back, the door slams between you. As you look around and you see a figure sort of sat 45-degree angle looking out of a window. You can just about see the hands resting on the arms of a wing-back armchair, tapping them.
This door slams shut. That is literally how Crow looks. He has his head up just like, yep, there it is. I'm not even going to bother opening that door. It's either locked, or if it does open, it's not going to be anywhere useful. That's what's going on in his head before he turns his attention back to the person in the chair.
It's good to meet you at last.
You have just finished listening to this week's episode of Blades in the Dark, What Happens in the Dusk, part of the Domain Gaming, written and told by Livespark. A special thanks to you, the listener, and if you wish to continue supporting us, subscribe, like, and share. As always, comments are welcomed. Until the next chapter.
You've heard the silent song.
We all have the legend, the curses.
Some foolishness about a world as it was meant to be.
A city of ghosts.
An illusion that you can begin again.
How much would you give for silence?